All right. So today we have our December roundtable call. What we're going to be talking about today is essentially what happens after quarter four, which is definitely important, right? Quarter four is a crazy time. We do a lot of preparation for quarter four. There's a lot of different things we do for quarter four. So it is important that we understand what do we need to do now that quarter four is ending. And we really kind of divide it up into two separate categories, which we'll go ahead and jump into now. So post Q4 steps for growth, okay? So this applies to everyone that isn't in the health space. So if you're in the health space, and what I mean by health space is if it's a supplement, if it's a diet situation, if it's workout equipment, whatever, if you're in the health space, quarter one is really your go time. So we're going to talk about you on the next slide. But this one is for those of you that perhaps quarter one really isn't an exciting time. We just need to kind of work on drawing it back now that quarter four has ended, right? So this is kind of for those categories, and then we'll move on to the health space next, okay? So for those of you that just kind of wrapped up your really, really busy time, the first thing I would say is start planning your January inventory now. There still will be delays at the Amazon warehouses. Don't get it, twisted that they will somehow have it together. They won't. So start planning now. Think that it will take 3 to 4 weeks for stuff to get checked in, similar to what happened in quarter four during the regular times, right? So that is something that I want you all to keep in mind, is projecting out your inventory now. Now, what I would say is make a plan to take down your holiday content. So if you implemented anything like a holiday storefront, you're able to put a time in there to say when to end it. So if you did a holiday storefront or a holiday AA content, all of that should be taken down by January 1st. It should be switched back over to the original content, or it should be switched to Q1 content, which could be something like New Year, New You kind of thing, right? So that's what should be happening at the end of this month. Now, one thing I think is super important, and this honestly goes for the health space as well, is we need to make a plan to build off the additional traffic that came during these last 2 months, right? Well, during January, November, and then obviously during December as it continues, right? So one thing I want to make sure everyone is on top of is requesting a review. More than likely, you guys had a bigger month this last month, and probably in December, you're going to have a pretty big month. So you can't skip out on requesting a review, right? Because the more orders you have to request the review, the more likely you are to get a review from requesting a review, right? So super important to not skip out on that. You should be skipping out on it anyway, but especially for November and December orders, do not skip out on that, because that's a big missed opportunity of getting a lot of reviews, right? Now, the other thing would be if you have a review funnel currently in the works, right? Or if you have one that's live is what I mean. Make sure you're not just grabbing emails and they're just sitting there, right? That's the last thing I want for you guys. If we're going to put a review funnel into action and we're going to start growing an email list, it's important those emails do not just sit there. So we want to make sure that you are following up with those emails, whether they're getting dropped into your regular sequence that you do for your website or what have you. There needs to be a sequence that follows up. So super important, like I said, guys, review funnel, having that live is awesome, obviously, but we can't just have emails, coming in and nothing's taken action, right? So make sure, double check that all of that stuff is in order for your review funnel, okay? Now, did you get extra storefront followers? So for those of you guys that don't know how to check this, you would go to your store, see insights, and on insights, it's going to see the followers up at the top of the screen. So that's where I want you guys to check for your followers. Now, if you saw an increase in your followers and you're at a good place, check to see if you're now eligible for customer engagements. That's going to be located under the brands tab. You'll see customer engagements. If you click on it and they allow you to make one, that means you're eligible. If it says this program is in beta, that means you're still not eligible, which is fine. But hopefully the flow of holiday customers helps kind of boost your numbers, which will help in the long run to get customer engagements from your Amazon storefront. Okay, so definitely making sure we're taking advantage of that. Now, if you already had customer engagements, and you saw a big increase in your storefront followers, definitely start to plan out some customer engagement. Get people involved, try to send out at least once a month. Because I mean, customer engagement is completely free to do. Can't hurt to get it set up, can't hurt to get it done. That's what I would recommend is if you're at a point where you got a good chunk of followers, Amazon's allowing you to send it out, at a minimum, send out one email a month and just see how it goes. I recommend doing it every single week because I want you to think of it from the customer's perspective. You don't want to be annoying in email, and this is the exact same thing. This is just Amazon email, right? So we just want to make sure that we're not crossing lines and sending too many emails, right? We want to kind of keep it neutral. Now, did you get an increase in sales that could have brought you a new lightning deal? So I saw this actually on a lot of clients I'm working on where there were products that were struggling, that weren't their top product, but did really well for the holiday season. They now have lightning deals available. So if you went into the holiday season and you had no lightning deal options, it's possible that with a large influx of sales that you guys now have lightning deals as an option. So I want to make sure you guys make the time to check your lightning deals tab, because that is something that could now be eligible for you as a seller. Okay. If you plugged in Amazon attribution tags into any type of marketing, email, Facebook, whatever, if you guys went ahead and did that, and we talked about for Q4, if you guys did that, make sure we're checking the stats on that, right? I've seen plenty of times when people are like, yep, I set up the attribution link, and then maybe they don't check their stats. So make sure you're checking those stats. Make sure we're keeping up with it, because the idea is we're using that to learn, right? So if email did better for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, then hey, like when Prime Day rolls around, we already have the data that email is the way to go, or whatever that might be, okay? So making sure you're checking on the stats of your Amazon attribution links is important, because we don't want to just set them up and leave them. Kind of similar to the review funnel thought, right? And then lastly, the other thing I want you guys to just double check is if you are running your PPC campaigns, make sure all holiday specific campaigns have been shut off. So those campaigns that say, best gift for him, for her, whatever, those types of campaigns need to be shut down as Q4 concludes. Now, I obviously know we're a few weeks early here, but that's something I want you guys to keep in mind as kind of a checklist through Q4. Okay. Now, moving on to the health space. And again, what I mean by the health space is literally anything that has to do with health, supplements, workout equipment, you're selling dietary things or whatever it might be. This is your time to shine. Like Q4, I'm sure is cool. I'm sure it's great because obviously there's an influx of traffic, but Q1 is your time to shine. So what we always recommend is for those of you in this space, think of Q1 as your Q4, prep for it as such, right? So here's some things that I want you guys to take advantage of. First, I would recommend leaning into the new year, new me messaging, making it clear your product will help customers reach their goals. Because that's the whole point, right? Is everyone has these new goals when the new year rolls around. You have all these resolutions. We should be leaning into that in the health space is the idea. Now, how to do that would be developing a storefront that specifically talks about these things. Now, when I say kind of leaning into this with your storefront, I'm not saying you have to completely redo your storefront, but what you could do is use your current storefront, move it around a little bit to make room for slogans like New Year, New Me, use blank to help reach your goals, whatever it might be. Having little things in there as reminders that this can help people reach their goals is really important and something you guys should definitely be plugging in. And again, I'm not saying go all out, have every single picture have New Year, New Me or something in the corner. It's definitely not what I'm meaning. But it is super important that customers are aware. This is going to help them reach their goals, right? So same thing I believe should be done for A+ content. A+ content, again, I wouldn't reinvent the wheel. Just adjust your current A+ content, make a little bit of room for different infographics that can kind of talk about how this product can help people reach their goals as they enter in the new year. Now, the other thing I would say is we need to do the exact same thing we did for Q4, right? So that means putting together promotional offerings, right? So for those of you guys that are Q1 is your go time, what's lucky for you guys is there isn't any special like Black Friday lightning deal price or anything. It's going to be a regular lightning deal, regular 7-day deal, whatever. But I would recommend that you do have some money put towards something like that. A lightning deal would be a really, really great option. A 7-day deal, even a better option. I know for some of my brands that are kind of in this health space, we've already set up 7-day deals for January. Because I mean, why not? They're already there. You're able to book them. I believe you're able to book them to January 15th as of right now. So I would get those booked out. I would try to take that first week of January if you can. Second week is obviously great as well. But placements like that are going to matter in the long run to make Q1 successful for you. Now, if you don't have lightning deals or 7-day deals available, you're not at a loss, right? We can do different things like coupon clippings, we can do promo codes, or Prime exclusive discounts. Now, for those of you guys that have never set up a Prime exclusive discount, we had a ton of success with them this Black Friday and Cyber Monday. We ran them for a ton of different clients across a ton of different categories, and they crushed it. So Prime exclusive discount, for those of you guys that do not know, the difference is it's not going to be like a coupon clipping where you clip a coupon. It's not going to be like a promo code where you copy and paste a code into the cart. It's going to be a strike through pricing, which automatically lowers the price for the customer, and they just add it to their cart. Super simple. The only difference is they have to be Prime eligible, meaning the customer has to be a Prime customer. So that's the only problem is if they are not Prime, they will not see that discount. Now, again, we didn't really see any issues with that because that was one thing we were worried about. We're like, okay, we're not going to reach every single person on Amazon. Honestly, we saw a ton of success with it. So that is something I would also take advantage of. But you definitely want to have a promotional plan in place. Same thing with external strategies. We want to have one there as well, whether that is an email blast talking about new year, new me, reaching your goals, all that good stuff. That would be awesome. Facebook advertising would be great as well. Any type of external effort that you guys can put in would be incredibly helpful. Now, keeping in mind, if you're going to do external efforts, get those Amazon attribution links going so that we can learn from this time of year and apply it to the future when we have different things going on. Okay. Now, one thing I definitely want to just remind everybody, again, if you're in the health space, whatever, new year, new language is usually associated with weight loss terms and things of that nature. As a reminder, you do have to be careful with these terms. You can't be making any promises. You can't be saying, you will be able to lose weight. You can't say things like that. You kind of need to keep it high level. I would focus on more so my product helps with healthy habits, things like that. Just try to stay away from weight loss as much as you can because it can get you in trouble potentially down the road. So that's just something I want you guys to consider. Now, again, for those of you guys that are kind of like, I'm not in that space, I'm not in the health space, understand that Q1 is usually a little bit slower for people that are not in the health space. So you might have to pull back a little bit on that ad spend. It might not be necessary to have a high of an ad spend, right? There just might be other things that you might need to draw back on just because it's not your time of the year to really shine, right? So as far as this presentation goes, that's all I've got for you guys. Just really important stuff to cover just to make sure that we are fully ready to transition from Q4 to Q1. Awesome. Well, I do appreciate your guys' time. If anything comes up, definitely let your coach know. But I will be back next month for our roundtable for group calls. So if you guys have any questions, you can always reach out. But other than that, we'll go ahead and end the call for today. Have a great rest of your week, guys, and thanks for hopping on.